it was like nobody was really Team Lewis right away, to be 100 with you.
We got the magic happening. Girl, the feeling is great and I'm loving it. Hey, we got the magic happening. Everything that we need, everything that we pay, girl, the magic's happening. And the feeling is great and this feeling is great, girl, the magic happening. It's happening, yeah.
My mama told him when she first seen him, because I guess because his hair was long and he was driving a Cadillac, she was like, I just want to let you know, I'm the only pimp around this motherfucker. Ain't no other pimps. So don't be coming around here trying to pimp my daughter. And then my nieces, when he came down the stairs, my niece is like, you trying to date Jesus, bro? Like, that's what you want? Like, so this is what we going with? So my family was very blunt and very rude. And
it didn't take long.
They wasn't messing with him at all.
It like to start off, to be 100, like they weren't. It was like nobody was really Team Lewis right away, to be 100 with you. Her dad was funny though. It was just like, if this your woman, why her car not clean? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she'd be funny and be like, go in there and call, say, Ma, I want to, and I'm like, I'm not calling your mom. Like, the first conversation we have, it's like, it's not even a hi or none of that. And I think she knew me from Potawatomi. Like, no, you think you pimping or something? You're not pimping. And eventually everybody got to know me and it was different. But to start off, no, I think, yeah, it was funny, the perception of that the family had for me to start off compared to like what they ended up eventually finding out it was, though.
So my dad's initial reaction to Roy, this day, because it was very, very hot outside. If you can see, he has all these tattoos, but his whole entire chest is filled with tattoos. And he had on a gray beater. He came up the front stairs, up the front porch, and he came in. And when I saw him, I was like, ah. In my head, I was like, my daddy is not about, he gonna say something. He's going to say something about these tattoos. So I got a few tattoos, and my dad, you know, he got something to say because he is very old fashioned. So yeah, when I saw him come up, I was like, Jesus Christ, he is about, if my daddy come out this room and see him, he gonna be like, so yeah, he came over, and then my dad he must have just came outside or something.
So her mom initiated
I don't even remember this, honestly.
And I'm just like, I'm looking at her mom's like, yo, let me go get a shirt. You know, oh, you good. Her mom like, oh, you good. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? So she took me in the back where her dad would be at. And her dad got this little back room where it's his room. And
it used to be my old bedroom.
Yeah, he got this little recliner chair. So he got everything set up in the room. So basically, when you walk in the room, he got his back turned because the chair is, and then the TV is in front of. So when you walk in, you see the TV, but you see his back turned because he's sitting in the chair.
So he got a light.
So, yeah. So her mom come in. Hey, Bobby, I got somebody who want to meet you. This is Annika's friend. I'm glad she didn't say boyfriend because that would have like just threw it off. Like. But she said, friend, you know, he rocking. Then he started rocking and looked back. I'm like, dang. He like, and then that's when she left the room. Left me in there by myself. And I'm just like, and you know, I kind of felt Annika like peeking around the corner, like,
what's going on?
Trying to see what was going on. But I made sure I shook his hand, like, with a firm handshake or whatever. You know, I got much respect for her dad. Even when I didn't even know him, you know, but it was different, man. Like, I was scared. I ain't never been scared of no man like that before. Like, because, I don't know, maybe that's the reason why, like, or I love you that much, because I'm like, yo, I don't do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't meet people and be nervous of meeting them. So, that was that.
He came to the family barbecue. He instantly met people talk. I'm looking for him. He playing spades. He playing spades. So everybody liked him. They said he was a good guy for me, knowing my past relationship. So everybody liked him, and no one had anything negative. They loved how he was with my children and things like that. And he just clicked. We clicked.
Man, I think the same thing is true. With Jackie, I remember one time my aunt had passed away, and I went to the liquor store run for the family. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave my lady here with all my cousins. And everybody that you know your cousins in them. Stop. You know your cousins in them. So you left them with your cousin. And when I came back in the house, like I'm bringing in people orders, chips for the kids, other stuff for other people. They like, man, cuz, your girl is a beast. I'm like, what happened? I'm walking in, people high-fiving me. What happened? She took 10 shots and she's still standing. This is a record in the family.
Playing drunk Uno. It was drunk Uno. It was drunk Uno.
I came back in, babe, you all right? I'm good. I'm like, you got to be a part of the crew now. You have to be now because they pretty much told me, like, you can't go find nobody else now. This is the one right here. And when they did that, that's how I knew, like, I got to put a ring on that one day. That was my baby.
My family's initial impression on Amanda, they thought she was a really good girl. She, when she first started coming around, she really didn't talk that much. She was super like courteous and had manners and all that type of stuff, but she didn't do a whole lot of conversing with you unless you kind of keep pulling. You have to keep pulling conversation out of her, but for the most part, they could already tell that she was on the right track. She had the right foundation, parents, etc., to be able to keep me together. So,
at the ages that we started dating, you really don't have any baggage, so it's really like you look good to one another's parents and families until you do something wrong. So I think for both of us, our parents and families really liked both of us. So we didn't really have those issues. I would say the one thing that my parents were kind of hesitant about, and he kind of touched on this, is coming from a household of divorce. So my dad was like, that's something that you need to be mindful of as far as with divorce rates and that influences in the household. And I'm like, yeah, but I still want to date him. So it's like, if anything, that was the one negative that never was an issue for us.
I had a 2-parent household my whole life. My mother and father have always been married since forever when I knew. But so for me, like my mom and them dancing together off of old school music, they used to bop. I used to love to watch them bop. Like to this day, my dad has passed away now, but to this day, my mom bops. I wish I knew how to bop because she always wanted me to bop with her, and she always make me look stupid on the dance floor. But I still do it because that's my mama. But romance for them was more, it was very less material than it is nowadays, and more actual moments, like memory moments of them just laughing together, kicking it together, and just they didn't need nothing else. They just needed them.
Yeah, and that's really dope. I'll be honest. I mean, I seen that coming and meeting Rachel, even having to help her dad get up to dance with her mom was super dope. My family was a lot different. My parents were divorced. We stayed with my mom for a while, then we stayed with my dad. So in both situations, my parents were dating the entire time. My mom eventually ended up getting married after we left. So romance for that was a little bit different. She didn't allow us to see as much when I stayed with my mom, and as a mother, I think a lot of times you protect your kids or kind of shield them from whatever you're doing as far as your dating stuff goes. So I didn't know how that looked. With my dad, when I moved with my dad, it was, typical like bachelor. He was a kind of like a player and kind of still is a player, and he just kind of did his thing. So romance was a lot different. It wasn't like one woman, one man kind of deal. It was real fluid.
Up until I was in the 6th grade, my parents were married. At the sixth grade, they divorced, but I was able to witness them do a lot. They traveled a lot. My dad was definitely he felt like just the main man in the house. The main man in the house. He was a tough lover, but at the same time, I seen them spend a lot of good time, together. After they divorced, which brought me to the school where I met Amanda, I was able to see my parents remarry and both be happy with people that make them happy. Specifically, my stepdad and my mom. I was able to see true happiness in my mom. They are true best friends. They hang out like they are still 17. They starting to slow down a little bit now, but it took a long time. Seriously, I mean, even to the point where we was hanging out with them, you know. And so, even to this day, they are best friends. They don't hang out with nobody else. It's just them all the time. They travel. They date all the time, every weekend, sometimes twice a week. So yeah, that's them.
Biggest things that affected me from previous relationship and just moving forward was just my own conscience. Like, it wasn't about her. It was more so about me, knowing the things I have done in my past. And now I'm ready to be that person to receive that type of love from someone. And I'm very fearful that my actions may be reciprocated upon me. And I understood that that was my own personal insecurity, that I was reflecting upon her, which was very unfair, but it was something that I took from my past relationships of hearing people tell me they love me and things like that, then knowing that the other choices that they were still choosing to make, and even myself. So I couldn't look at myself as being a righteous individual. I had to take a step back and really evaluate, was that really fair to her? So I think that was one of the biggest things I took from my past experiences, and definitely, projected upon her.
Well, it was one particular thing that kind of struck me a little bit, was the fact that in my last relationship, she would go out a lot, like go to clubs or whatever. So when me and Annika started, fooling around, that was kind of like a similar thing. She was going out a lot, which I understood. She would get in the clubs for free and stuff of that nature. So, I mean, I get it. But at the same time, once we got a little serious, that's when I had to, talk to her, have that talk like, yo, we getting serious. We should start doing other things besides going to the club every weekend. So that's when we start going out on dates and stuff like that. So, and when that started happening, that's when we started, knowing things about each other, or finding out about, stuff like, how I'm trying to say. But, but yeah, we got to know each other a little better once we started, like, actually taking out dates, going out on dates, and, just straight away from that club a little bit.
In one of my past relationships, the fact that the person I couldn't really be around the family like that because of the child, baby mama. That was a big thing. I was like, no, we can't do that. And I was very uncomfortable in the past relationship. So I just was like, in this relationship, this is something that I can't. Like the next, I was like, I have to be able to be around your family for holidays, and being able to just interact with them without him, and not just only with you, or, it got to be like someone watching what I'm saying, or they watching what they saying because they don't want to, slip up and say something you've been doing. So that was something that I wasn't uneasy about, because I early on I learned about his family, and like I got to like really be around his family and see how they were. But yeah, with him, that's not a problem at all. But that was something when I was, when we were dating, that I was like, I don't want to feel uneasy about.
I carried a few insecurities, and at the time, I didn't even know they were insecurities. I had been with someone in high school off and on for most of my high school years, and thought that was like my love. So I brought trust issues, insecurities. Like, I didn't think I was like good enough. He would tell me I was attractive, but I'm like, yeah, you think every girl that you sleep with is attractive. Like, nigga, you done slept with a lot of people. What? Not like that, but I'm just saying that's how I used to think. That's how I used to think. Yeah, but the insecurities of just not feeling enough, and then insecurities of him not being, that I projected on him to not be as good as my dad, that I felt like my dad was to my mom. I always wanted a man like my father, and I didn't know who could actually live up to that standard.
Just an insecurity, not a bad insecurity, but I've grown to embrace it, was being dark skinned. Being a dark skinned woman is it's, you know, melanin, you know, all that is going on now. And being a dark skinned woman, it's hard because you think that people look at you like, well, she ain't cute, or she cute to be a dark skinned girl. I hate when people say that. But I'd be like, thanks, like that's a backward ass compliment. Like, come on, you know, don't do that to me. But, and the fact that he's, you know, he feel a little like bright, but I didn't even have like a type or anything. I just, honestly, people were always lighter than me that I dated. So, I knew he loved me because of my skin, and he loved everything about me. But that is still something where you'd be like, you know, it's kind of like a little bit of an underlying insecure, like a skin complex. You know, being a little girl, people didn't, not that I cared about if a boy wanted to talk to me, but I have cousins who are lighter than me. They will want to talk to them first, you know. So that is something, you know, just that he loved my skin. He loved my brown skin. I'm thankful for, but that is one.
I was very insecure about my teeth. That was really it. That was really the biggest thing for me. So going into high school with braces, I'm like, this is a new world. And I had been crushing on Harry since 6th grade. So the fact that braces got him to notice me in a different way, I was like, oh, okay. So that was it for me.
For me, to be honest, I was just a kid that was always kind of popular, and I didn't have any insecurities. I felt like the man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I never felt any type of way as it comes to being in relationships and having any type of insecurities. I was just whoever, the 16-year-old me. And that was a kid that was just in love with ball and loved girls. I would say it was a upperclassman couple that went to high school with us. I liked the way they had things set up. I think it was partially because I had a crush on the girl, but at the same time, I liked it because he was a hooper and she was just the pretty girl and just was always around, always supportive of him. And I thought that was cool. So yeah, fast forward, I don't know how many years, 10, 15 years, that couple is back together and they have a kid together. So it was a little bit something special about them, I would say.
I would say my relationship goals growing up would have been my parents. Living in the house with them and just seeing how they interact and being able to raise a family, and now being in adulthood and seeing how challenging that it can be, it makes it even more special to be like, they really put in work to be able to stay married for 30 plus years, have 3 children, and we're basically living a similar life, being together now over 16 years and having 3 children, trying to navigate parenthood and keeping our relationship spicy, or however you want to say it. I would say that's a relationship goal, my parents.
A woman's intuition is usually never wrong. And come to find out, Maurice was talking to someone else. And Maurice decided to leave me for that woman.
We got the magic happening. Girl, the feeling is great and I'm loving it. Hey, we got the magic